Hey everybody, we're recording now. We've been having a great conversation about the Chrysalis calendar and its kind of its core functionality. Uh, I'm going to give some thoughts, and then Marco has his hand up. Um, so we're talking kind of like, in a sense, there's sort of this dialectic, yin yang. Um, basically scheduled versus spontaneous. Which should it be? Why not both? So now imagine that on the calendar, we had scheduled certain starting points. At noon Pacific time on Monday, we're going to start a conversation about this and see where it goes. And in fact, it might branch out and spawn out into a bunch of different areas. Let it. That's part of the spontaneity, right? So in addition to that, we can also in parallel have a 24/7 Zoom room for spontaneous. Just show up and say what you want to talk about. I would actually propose we have two different 24/7 Zoom rooms, right? And fortunately, a lot of the power users here, Christopher, Marco, Alan, myself, have more than one device. So we could actually be in two rooms at once. But the idea of the two rooms would be, one would be an ongoing conversation, the Chrysalis conversation, the core conversation about transforming life on Earth, life in the Chrysalis, transformation, etc. The other would be more about directing traffic, right? And those two seem like fundamentally two different spaces, two different conversations. The directing traffic is more logistical. All right, which breakout rooms do we create? What's happening in each? Giving people orientation. The other is, no, we're talking, we're doing this, and then we just keep it going. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of like two different campfires, if you will. Maybe one's called the campfire, the other's called the pub, because in the pub, we're just talking. In the campfire, that's where you come to check in and direct traffic. But anyway, so this would be a way to institutionalize both the calendar with scheduled starting points for conversations that are kind of seed crystals, and then you see where they grow from there. And the other could be these 24/7 conversations, the campfire and the pub. Okay, sounds like an old fable from hundreds of years ago. The campfire and the pub, maybe thousands of years ago. All right. Another idea is, imagine that on the home page of the Chrysalis calendar, at any given moment, maintained by the people in the campfire, is a list of topics with their respective links of where to go to discuss them, of what's being discussed right now. And yes, some of that will have been pre-scheduled. Others will be spontaneous, right? So that, like right now, if Alan just said, hey, I really want to have a breakout room and talk about SRM, we'd say, fine. In the campfire, we create that breakout room. Thank you, Alan. We create that breakout room, and then we update it on the homepage. It could even be a blog. It could be something, just someplace where we just update it so that people can see this is what's being discussed right now. And we add SRM to it. And we put a link, in this case, to the campfire, because it's a breakout room from the campfire, unless, I don't know, Dr. Ye Tao has opened up his Zoom room for that, and then we provide a link to that, whatever, okay? I also like Simon's idea about a doodle poll, which could be for, okay, we want to talk about this topic, fine. When do we want to talk about it? And then we have a poll so that we're constantly updating when we want to talk about what, for those people for whom it's important that we schedule stuff, because for some people that's important, that they have a schedule rather than just being spontaneous. And with that, I think I've covered it. So we've got Marco's had his hand up, followed by Alan. All right, Marco, go.
Yeah. Part of this was what Simon. I think what Simon was talking about with the doodle poll and these, if you want to have this conversation, we can have it here, or then this idea of when we want a conversation. I guess maybe it has a place on the calendar, but it's kind of what we already do here in the campfire in the conversation. We already have the option to have whatever conversation anybody wants when they want it. You know, invite as many people as you want. We'll accommodate to our capacity. I think we're not focusing enough on getting the calendar done. The idea of the calendar, I think, is getting stretched too many ways. I mean, maybe that's the way it has to be. I'm not sure 100%, but it's still the main idea of the calendar is about finding all the conversations that are already going on and giving them a place to find each other and collaborate. You know, that's the most important part in the coming transformation, is that everybody has access to everybody, so that we're all getting somehow on the same page. And I think I know from the experience with the press conference that we were a little bit technically not where we needed to be. And so it's important that we plan for this calendar, but I think redescribing what's already happening here in the campfire and the conversation, that anybody wants a conversation can schedule one and have one, and yet that'll be on the calendar. Let's get the calendar done so that we have everybody finding each other. I hope that made sense. I'm complete for now.
That made great sense to me. I need to break away for a couple of minutes, and then I'll be right back. But please feel free to carry on. We are recording. Let's just continue to record. I can always go back and watch. But sorry, I have to break away for a couple of minutes. Alan has his hand up, followed by Melanie, and I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
I'll make sure you watch this, because this is a question to you.
Or you can repeat when I get back, as you wish, Alan. I'll be back in a couple of minutes in any case.
If I can remember. Yeah, you could get 1 million people on a Zoom call having a conversation, and you can maybe even get 1 million people on a Zoom call to get 90% of them all agree on a specific goal. But unless they donate money or time, what's going to actually happen? What's going to actually change? Marco, 1 million people, they all agree, well, 90% of them all agree, but none of them want to donate money or time. What changes? You can talk until you're blue in the face. You can talk to the end of the world, the end of the universe. But until people actually want to donate their money or their time, what actually changes?
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for bringing that. That is the difference between the talkers and the doers. And I've been thinking about that. We really need to focus on, you know, of course, we need conversation, yes. But I've been really thinking about that. We need to be doers so that it doesn't go only on the talkers. And then thank you for bringing that point. So important, so important. And Marco, I want to say that I really like what you said before. I totally agree with that. Thank you for having brought that up too.
Yeah, Marco, you're on the button. Absolutely spot on. The thing is, today's conversation was important because it adds a feature to the calendar. It's good to have the conversations that looks at all the features that we need to put into the calendar. before we start working on the calendar, because that, I mean, we worked on the registration form, and in fact, the calendar is turning the registration form on its head. It's offering the space and asking people, the conversation part is take your room or take your space and come into the conversation, or go to whichever place you want with the links. So I guess, while we may not be actually talking about the calendar per se, but having this conversation, because it brings into the calendar the various features and elements that we need to put in the calendar. And I think the discussion on designing or even working on the calendar will start the moment we finalize what's the platform and software platform we use for developing the calendar. I've looked at Teamup, and actually I still have to work with it, but it looks like it doesn't need much technical expertise. People it's like making an ordinary Google Calendar, or like making a Trello board, except that it has certain other features in it. And with the integrations that we are going to be able to have, those are the nitty-gritties that need to be looked into. So from what I understand and my perspective so far, is we have the calendar with the regular featured events, like Alan says, where are all these people? And like you said, let's just bring them in and populate the calendar, and then have one segment on the calendar, which is like the open-ended for the conversations, and that's a design feature in the calendar. So basically, we are looking at two features that we can bring in at this moment. So I think this, as far as I can see it, this pretty much covers the territory that you guys have been holding with the Campfire and the open space. And like James said, that we have to keep in mind the physical logistics of manning a 24/7, and how it's going to be manned and how it's going to be looked at and handled. But upfront, I think the next step that we need to do is start populating the calendar. But before we start populating the calendar, we need to have an in-depth discussion on what is the format or platform or software we use for developing the calendar. What do you say, Marco? That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. Have you seen the intake form that Vincent's been working on for his Catalyst program?
No.
Okay, because that's when he first, we were at Kiko Lab in I think 2-3 weeks ago, he first showed that intake form, and we all put our information in, but it was for a project that Kiko Lab's doing. And when I saw the form and the questions it asked and everything we could put in there, and it was very flexible as to include all your different groups and your background and your history. I saw that and I'm like, oh my God, that is the form that we were trying to do. That's what we needed. Jamen agreed. He's had meetings with him. Vincent is willing to do that for us for the calendar. With I guess the caveat that he gets access to all the same information for his Catalyst program.
For his what program?
It's called Catalyst, and it's kind of, if I understand it right, it's another idea along the same lines of getting people all together. The catalyst that brings people together.
It's a great sort of website where it brings people together and it helps to connect people. It's really good for bringing people together and getting shared projects and whatever together. But ultimately, it's like, if people are not going to donate money, they still have to donate time. If they're not going to volunteer their time, I mean, even a conversation takes time. You can't be engaged in a conversation without volunteering your time to be in that conversation. And if you're talking about making change, we're not talking about how many people in the room, 12, 8, I don't know. But I mean, we're talking about millions of people to make change in the world. And you want millions of people to engage in a conversation or in making change, they have to be donating something, time, money, even just to engage in a conversation, that's time. And most people in the world don't have the time. They have to like stop making money, stop working to spend time making money to engage in conversations. So you're asking people to donate whatever, from whatever angle, whatever, no matter how you look at it, you're asking people to donate something.
Yeah, you know, Marco, there are two parts to what you were saying, and I fully agree with Alan. It was the pandemic that made people start having conversations because that was the only thing they had on their hands, that was time, you know, and as life is going back to normal, there's again now a fight for that time and that space. The form is one form of input that can go in. So you have two things. One is where the input comes in from, and the calendar is the front end output of what the world gets to see, right? You don't, I was looking, Jamen had in his email put the link to Teamup, where Teamup makes calendars and stuff like that. And that was what I was looking at, because that's what Jamen had put in. I don't know if there are other calendars going. I know Trello board is there, but Trello board is really not a calendar. It's a thematic board, whereas Teamup calendars actually seem to make a lot more sense. But one has to find out, you know, I still have to play around with it. So you can have people directly input into the calendar, and you can have people fill up a form which will lead them into the calendar. Now, I guess we will have to make both routes available to people. Again, like Alan said, people are not going to have the time to commit, because it is a commitment of time. And do they care enough to want to commit the time? And the only thing that makes them want to care enough is how we market the concept of the calendar as, this is a free promotion for you. Otherwise, how are people marketing their events? They have a subscriber list and they send it out on the subscriber list, right? They send emails out on the subscriber list. And I think Doodle also, you need to send a Doodle link by email for someone to start populating a Doodle calendar or a Doodle question, because basically it's a question which asks people when they are available for a specific topic. So one will have to look at the back end and how this is going to pan out, you know, when we put the calendar together.
Yeah, I definitely think we need both of those. You know, that's necessary. But I know, Alan, you asked this last week, and I did the math. And we discussed this earlier on several times. You know, how many people does it take? What percentage of the population do we need to get to that tipping point where change happens? And I believe the number was like 7%, which means we only need like 490 million people to make the difference.
You know, Marco, you remember I used to do the global meditation, which would go into every time zone, 24-hour meditation. I've done 3 of them. And it's always been my mission to hit at least 10% of the global population. Because if you can get 10% into the heart, and all of us are here because we are in the heart. You know, none of us are thinking, what's in this for me? Why am I here? What am I going to gain out of this? We are here because we care and we are in the heart. And it takes that 10% to be the tipping point. The reason why 10% is important, because if you look at 7%, the balance is in such a dark place that it's going to take much more than that 7% to start the tipping point. And I used to do the 7% thing too. And then in one of my meditations, I was told, no, it's not going to work because there's too much of darkness. You know, you need much, much more light to fight what's happening. And not, I wouldn't say fight, to bring about the change that needs to be brought about. Yeah. Welcome back, Jamen.
Yeah, actually, I think
Thank
the
you.
last time we had the discussion, I said, you know, if it takes 7%, let's shoot for 10, so we have an error margin. When you said, I remember that's what we talked about. I think that was during food healers.
I think part of the problem is like this conversation we're having here. How many people are? I mean, well, I'm here 2 times. Jamin's here twice. Marco's here twice. There's about 8 of us. 8 people are not going to change the world, but as Jamin's always saying, there's so many people having the same conversations separately, individually, way separate. We don't even know they exist. It's not just about a calendar of where are these conversations. It's a calendar of how do you get these conversations to link all of the people who want the same thing to come together. So instead of like 10 people here, 10 people there, and 10 people over there, and 10 people over there, there's like 1 million people, all who want the same thing, suddenly being able to come together and actually make it happen.
Yeah, the idea of the calendar is you can't if you think you're alone and you're the only ones trying, or you know your group is trying, and you know there's got to be other ones out there. Until we have a calendar where everybody can find each other, there's not that opportunity for people to find each other and collaborate. It's just too hard. So, you know, we're on the right track.
Yeah, Alan, you know, the thing is, it's not up to us to believe that the change will not happen. It's for we just have to, like Marco says, we just have to be facilitators and allow spirit to drive and design us, because I do know that what's going to finally emerge is going to be something totally different. And it's not up to us to plan and think we are going to be the ones making the difference. We are just instruments. We just have to do what we are told to do and allow spirit to unfold. And I'm 100% sure it always unfolds in the most unbelievable ways. It took a pandemic for everyone to connect. I mean, I didn't know anybody in this room till we met because of the pandemic. So that's how spirit works. That's how spirit works. It's not up to us.
The way I see it is there's a great big round pin being pushed into a great big round hole. And if we all push it, it'll go in and it'll fit and it'll fix things. Some people are pushing it away and some people are not even bothering to push it at all. All I'm interested in is just get up against it and start pushing it. Yeah. It's going to happen anyway. Doesn't matter what we do. We can't stop it. It's going to be solved. But I would just like to have my hands against that pin, pushing it into the hole.
Those are just beautiful things. Thank you, Alan and Malini. I'm just so grateful that you brought about. There is a power way beyond higher, whatever we want to say, than us, that is really driving all the goodness and driving us like-minded people to get together and actually do what we need to do. So just beautiful. Thank you so much for that.
Well, I'd just like to say there that like getting back to what Malini said there about you know, before the Zoom or before the pandemic, you know, she didn't know any of us on Zoom, and until the pandemic arrived, a lot of people started using Zoom then as well, you know, and started having conversations. But in saying that, also what Alan was saying, when Malini said, like, some people don't, you know, when things start to go back to normal again, as you know, the pandemic is kind of with the vaccinations and everything else is easing, things are somewhat going back to normal. people don't have the time and to commit to the conversations or something. That's all well and good. A lot of people won't. I don't think we should concern ourselves with worrying about who can and who will and who won't come to the conversation. The very fact that we're here and we're only a small number ourselves, but as Malini said, we're all here with heart. And I believe myself that anyone that will get into the conversation and will start to persist in it is here with heart as well. And I think our main focus is facilitating by getting the calendar up and running. So because for one, the majority of people don't even know, as you said, we don't know who's out there having these conversations, and the majority of people don't even know these conversations exist. In fact, there's a lot of people who don't even realize what problems we have in the world to even have a conversation about them. So the main focus is to get the calendar up and going so that we can be able to facilitate the people that will come, that will be willing to come to the conversation once they know that there's a platform for it. So we shouldn't concern ourselves about how many numbers we can get or anything else at all. We should just concern ourselves with getting the calendar and facilitating the people when they do come there. Thanks.
Beautiful. All right, Jamen has his hand up, so I'll take it. I'm not sure what I missed, but I love where this conversation is going. And here's the thing. It's really not a matter of, well, I got so much to say, but one of the things is it doesn't matter how many of us are in the room right now. There could be 2 of us, right? And that would be more than enough to get an exponential going. That's the first thing I want to say. The second thing I want to say is that we are way farther along than many people imagine. I've been having these video conferences. We started on Google Hangouts back in 2014, actually 2013. We've been having these transformational conversations for years now. And the big complaint back then, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, was there's hardly anyone having these conversations. Now, there are huge numbers of conversations and significant number of people having these conversations. It's just that we're all fragmented, right? But we're in a much better place now than we were even 2 years ago, when hardly anyone was having these transformational conversations on video conference. The hard part is done, right? What remains is relatively easy. Getting us all up on a calendar shouldn't be that hard. It's not that hard. So we're like 90% there. So let's take stock of that and actually celebrate. In fact, let's all just like dance for a minute and say, woo, woo, we're 90% there. In terms of getting to a critical mass, right? The original critical mass is 2 of us. There's like millions of us who are in transformational conversations on video conference. We just need to get connected. We're like the kid who longs to have a beautiful collection of marbles, all in a beautiful box. The good news is he's got all the marbles. They're just scattered in different rooms throughout the house. All he needs to do is go throughout his own home and pick up the marbles and put them in the box. That's all there is to do, right? If he didn't even have the marbles, then there'd be a problem. But he's got all the marbles. They're just scattered throughout the house. So go room by room and pick them up. And I think that's kind of Marco's point from a few minutes ago. We need to get these meetings on the calendar. Meetings that are already happening. So we're 90% of the way there. We have 2 to the power of 3 people in this room right now, 8 of us. That's 2 to the power of 3. So we have exponentially more people than we need to get it done. We're almost there. We're literally almost there. and where I see the conversation that's evolved over the course of the last hour, which has been amazing, is that we're simply tweaking and refining. Okay, Melanie needs to go, and she has to go. So Melanie, go ahead and speak before you need to go. Go ahead, Melanie. I pass you the talking feather.
Yeah, sorry, Jim, and I really need to go. I just want to know, like Marco says, let's move forward to the next step, and which means what is the app and the platform we plan to use. I'm still looking at the other features in Teamup. It seems to be a good platform to get the job done because of its versatility, but they have different templates. So I'm just looking at all the templates that are available. And if there's any other app or platform you'd like me to take a look at, I'd be happy to do that. I should tell you that my expertise comes from the front end, the user interface, what it looks like, how easy is it going to be? If can we tell people to just go in and fill up their card and populate it, because we don't have the manpower or the bandwidth to be filling it up for other people. Also, like Marco said about a form, so they do have some integrations through Zapier or through Airtable integrates with them, some other forms integrate with them. So we have to have seamless integration. But you and I know that not everybody's happy filling up a form. People unfortunately are a bit lazy. Well, that's what it is. We learn to live with that and work around it. So if we let me take a look at it. If there's something else you'd like to look at, just let me know. And because we now need to close in on and finalize on what's the app, because there's still a lot of front end design, feature sorting out the features, the sequencing, planning that needs to be done before we take it forward. I wouldn't like to do something and then work backwards and redo something. I mean, that's not how, I like to sort of get a flow chart, think about it, and work forward. I mean, I'm not the only one. It's just that, you know me, I get down to, don't do to-do lists. Which is why the moment your email came, I saw the video. I said, oh, Jamen says, see the video. I'm going to see it right now. Yeah, so I'm done. And anything you have to say, then I'll leave.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. No, I was just saying, sorry. Thank you for being here, Malini, and for sharing very wonderful thoughts. And have a lovely day. Hope you come soon.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, Malini, I'd love to respond very quickly before you go. First of all, I want to let everyone know the pronunciation of her name is Malini. 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 And so anyway,
thank you. Just
like Melanie, but and that's not a criticism. Everyone, 90% of the people who come in here say, "Oh, Malini, Malini, Malini." Of course, it's Malini. No, her name is Malini. Anyway, so Malini, so three things I want to respond to. First of all, you talked about filling out a form. Nobody wants to fill out a form. I agree. We found this super cool open source software. Help me with the name, Marco, Alan, Simon.
Descript?
Actually, pardon me?
Descript?
No, I don't think it's that. It's that open source.
Oh, open source. Sorry.
It's that thing where there's that group, and there were a bunch of English folks, and they were talking about it on that video. But anyway, the bottom line is this. Let me describe it rather than try to name it. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it, Marco.
Open 2020.
No, I think it was something else. It might have been related to that, but that might have been the conference or something. But in fact, it probably was. Thank you, Murmuration. So, but let me tell the concept. Okay, is that there is a plugin that they've developed open source that any website. Let's say we find a community that, oh, this is it. Your event should be on the calendar. Listen to this. If it's WordPress website, and most of the sites out there are WordPress, right? that has a calendar with all their events, they install one single plugin. And that becomes like a little James Bond radio transmitter plugged into their WordPress website and their calendar, always live, that transmits directly to us and says, oh, we created a new event, mirror it automatically. Then it's done, automatic, done. One single action, install this plugin. So that's some very good news. So, but let me generalize. There are, the bottom line is there are solutions like that, which automate the mirroring of transformational conversations on that community's calendar to our calendar, the Chrysalis calendar. So that's the first point of 3 that I wanted to make. The second point is, Melanie, you said, all right, this is all great. I want to focus on the next steps. The next step is we need to figure out the platform. I would argue that is one of the next steps we need to take, but not the only next step. The things we've been discussing right here in this room during the last hour are also very important next steps. How do we frame this whole thing? What is the it, right? And the spontaneity versus scheduling, that's beautiful and key. And having a 24/7 room, which we already have right here, we're already miles ahead. So yes, let's definitely work on the platform. I would love it if you continue to look at Teamup and see what you think of that. Look at others. Let's move towards finalizing on that. And in parallel, let's continue the great conversation we're having right here today about how is this all going to fit together. And like the thing about Kiko Lab is a conversation about partnership and essentially offering our spontaneous Chrysalis services as essentially a plug-in to their amazing weekly meetings that they have. Anyway, those are my quick, go ahead.
Yeah, quick. Jamen, I've looked at the Murmuration link that you sent in the video, and I've seen all their, they have a whole lot of tutorial videos, which I've seen. I've sent them an email because there were some questions, and they have responded, because I must let you know that only 30% of the websites in the world are on WordPress. That still leaves an ecosystem of 70% out, right? So they are coming up with a general plugin, which is a JSON file. JSON is probably a format file, and while it does, Murmurations does do the link up and the auto population from WordPress, it still needs to be linked with, I mean, I've sent them an email about, after I looked at Teamup, as to how this is going to work with them. They're a fantastic platform for aggregation and for bringing together different players in the field seamlessly. I mean, that was something really wonderful when I've seen most of their tutorial videos and stuff like that. You know, I do read and I do follow up on all the stuff you send, Jamen.
Embed is basically a plugin for every single website on the entire internet. It's just a program that embeds. WordPress and all the other things have commercialized it by saying you can only get this plugin for our website or this plugin, and they cost money. But embed any website anywhere in the entire world. So if you make it embeddable, it's completely open source.
Yeah, it's like, that's what they emailed me, and they said they first worked on a WordPress plugin, but they are working on other websites plugin, and they're working on a common, that's what they emailed me and said, that they're working on one generalized, it's like an API, you know, you just pick up an API code and plonk it in your website and it gets populated. So they're working on that. I haven't got back or chased them and asked them, hey guys, where are you on your plugins? But they are working on it, and they are making it more accessible and simple and easy to use.
Basically, the world's trying to make everything somehow you can charge for it. I mean, radio waves are radio waves, but when they became internet. They called it Wi-Fi and then Bluetooth and AirDrop, and these are just basically encoded of encryptions of the same thing so that you can charge for it.
Okay, see you guys. Good night.
Very
Have a
good.
good
Great to see you, Melanie. What amazing progress. Amazing progress, everyone. I'm super happy and proud of us all. Thank you. And we'll see you soon. Really, what amazing progress. We're getting so much sorted out. Because there's so much to do, you know, you can always look at a glass as half empty or half full. I'm choosing to look at it as half full. This glass is full of water, half full. Yeah, there's another half to go, but look at what has been accomplished thus far, not just by us, but by the open source community and these plugins we're talking about, by the fact that so many of these meetings are already happening. So I say rejoice, and let's give thanks, and then let's fill up the other half.
Yes,
All right, Pat.
yes.
First went
And
offline, Jamen, the question I had to ask was, if you got like a million people in a Zoom call, it's like talking is cheap. You could talk till you're blue in the face. You could get 8 people talking to the blue in the face, million people or 8 billion people talking, but it's like till you actually do something, and doing something that either costs you money or time. So if you're not donating money and you're not donating time, how do you make change?
Well, so here's how I would answer that question, or just an initial thought. The initial thought is very simple. First of all, talk is cheap, but it's not free. We are donating our time here right now. And before you take on any project, you first have to plan it out. And so, like, even if Melissa and I were to get together and say, okay, let's have a project to clean up the house, we would first sit down and have a meeting about it, right? Now, cleaning up and transforming life on Earth, all of our economics, all of our governance, our culture, our story, is a little bit more complicated than cleaning up a house, right? Maybe even a lot more. So the work that we're doing right now is actually the work we need to be doing right now. It's not kicking the can down the road. It's not avoiding, you know, the actual work. We're not here playing video games after all. We're not on Twitch playing video games and eating Skittles, right? We're doing the work that we need to do right now, which is planning. We're planning, in this case, for the calendar. The calendar will help the world get together to have even more conversations. So there's several iterations of conversation, levels of conversation that we need to have before we can figure out what the hell to do, how we're going to do it, how we're going to get the resources, what's the strategy, how are we going to sell it, how are we going to message it, what's the PR, what's the marketing. There's so many facets to it. So I would argue we are doing exactly the work we need to be doing right now. And it is work, and it is hard, and it takes dedication and time. All right, going on mute, passing the talking feather. Thank you. And love to hear your response to that, Alan.
Well, the one thing that always comes back to my mind is numbers. It doesn't matter how you talk about it. I mean, obviously the calendar is the focus on numbers. It's trying to get the people who have the same interests finding each other and being able to connect with each other. But ultimately, that's the big thing, is the numbers. Getting people who have similar goals to meet and find each other and actually make things happen. I don't know. I mean, is there a certain amount of the conversation, or maybe even another day, that we should schedule a special day for how to expand, how to reach more people, how to reach out to other people and create a a way that's virally can connect. I mean, obviously, on YouTube, a viral video reaches out through algorithms and whatever else, but viral nature is one person speaks to two people, and those two people speak to four, and those four speak to eight, and those eight speak to 16, and 16 to 32, to 32 to 64, to 64 to 120, 120, 200, 200 to 400, 400 to 800, and it's boom, it's instantly reaches, you know. But is there a way we can reach out to other people and invite them to this conversation? And is there something we can do in that sort of format?
I would respond to that and say like that for the last year now, and between, you know, with the block party, the conversation, the campfire, the press conference, these are ways that we've been trying to reach out to people and get more people on board. But, you know, not saying that, you know, all of that time has led us to this point here, and the, you know, to try and build this the calendar. I just feel like that once we have to focus on that now. We have to focus on building it first. And as I said, if we build it, they'll come. Because once we build it, we can also, as you said, Alan, it is vital that we get people here, and it's vital that we let people know that the, you know, service is available. But we have to focus on building it first, and then focus on, you know, publicizing it, advertising it, spreading it, whatever form that comes in, meme form or whatever form, even if it's just all of us, you know, choosing to network and start sending the link to other networks and conversations that are going on YouTube or whatever. But that'll come after. We just need to focus on building it first.
Part of the problem with that, James, part of the problem with that, James, is that it's not building it that's the problem. Everybody's trying to build it right now at the same time. What Jamin's trying to suggest is a way to build it, to get everyone who's building it to come together in the same space and build together. Everybody's trying to build it right now. There's so many people want to build that, and they are doing, and they're probably sitting in all their different little discussions and all the little Zoom calls all over the world, having the same conversation we're having right now, and wondering, is there anybody else out there that's having the same conversation? But it's finding them and bringing them together.
Yeah, I agree. But from what I've learned over the last year with this idea of trying to get numbers, I just feel that we, like when we started off the other night before we went to Kiko Labs, we Alan started you know,
You've cut off, James, there. Your voice is breaking up. But see, back in the old days, James, it's like the Scots would get like a horseman and send that horseman with a message down to Ireland on his horse to send a message to Ireland, say, hey, come and join us, join the clans, unite
we should
the
work
clans.
on something like that. So, exactly. That's how we get them in there.
So consider, we are the horsemen, right? Sister Ivy is a horsewoman. We are the horse people, right? And we're about to set out and ride. But before we do, we're going to complete a calendar and strap it into our saddlebag. And then we're going to ride. So the horses are all here. They're watered, they're fed, they're rested, they're ready to go. We're almost ready to ride. And we need to get the calendars done. Put them in our saddlebags, and then we ride into the night. Now, regarding all these groups that are trying to do the same thing, I would say there are all these groups trying to do a bunch of different things. Some of the groups are trying to do the same thing of SRM. Some of the groups are trying to do the same thing of permaculture. And some of the groups are trying to do the same thing regarding calendaring, right? And so when we go out and ride, I say we first hit those villages in the Scottish Highlands and Northern Ireland that are working on the calendar specifically. Imagine we get those villages together and say, look, before we hit the rest of the villages, let's have an even better calendar that can unite all the islands. Passing the talking.
Brother Jamen, I have I'm gonna say a word I don't use, but objection is, I guess there are many, there might be many people that go the vegan way, and riding horses is a little bit on the edge there for some vegans. So it's just a comment. It's beautiful, but you know, the horse doesn't really agree that it's wonderful to carry all the stuff and be treated so many, you know, ways that we know and all that stuff. Anyway, I was just bringing that. That's just some food for thought.
Horses are very loyal. Horses are actually willing to sacrifice their lives in order to save a human by galloping until they die. Horses are completely loyal to humans. I mean, especially someone who believes in God and his provisions that he's made animals there to help to, you know, I mean, help human beings and stuff. These animals really seem to have a loyalty to humans.
Well, I guess that's one way to think about it, which I respect any way people think. But another way is, are they willing, or do we force them to do that, and do we impose that on them? And they were wild horses a long time ago, but then we thought, oh, this is very convenient to put it to our service. But I didn't mean to bring another whole topic, of course, that we can think different.
Individual loyalty. I mean, some animals are definitely forced and enslaved, and it's completely wrong what's done to them. But I mean, many animals display a tremendous amount of loyalty to humans. Dogs and horses especially, they just demonstrate some kind of amazing loyalty to humans and to sacrifice themselves in order to save human. I mean, there are dogs who've done all kinds of things, even sacrificing their own lives to save their owners. It's not like they're all completely oppressed. I mean, there's places where people breed animals and dogs and horrible things happen to them, and it's wrong. But there's
a lot of that.
There's also animals who are very, very loyal to humans and, you know, willing to sacrifice their lives to save humans.
Well, like I said, I don't mean to take the conversation somewhere else. I just, like I said, just some food for thought. I have some questions, just some questions out there. Would like to hear what you guys think, because when we are, one thing is, will it be a good way to that doing that, Alan, you're talking about, and I love that, the doing. And of course, we do need the conversation, Brother Jamen. That's absolutely, I mean, there's nothing without, you know, communicating how we're going to do it and what, of course. But will it be also a way to get something out in the best of our ability and in the best way that we have been inspired, and then people can see that, and then maybe that's a way that, hey, there's this calendar here, look at this, and boom, and then it starts growing. Is that another way that is this another way that we can just start it, you know? Because so many times when we talk, I feel and I see that we all agree that it's all a great idea, that we have a lot of it kind of, I don't mean the technical part, but the idea part. We all agree, we all think it's wonderful, we all think so. Is there like a little middle way that maybe we can, with all the concepts that we already have, get something? And I know, Brother Jamen, you mentioned that some maybe a week or two ago, that maybe the main page could be done, and the main explaining what it is and this. And I'm wondering, what I'm saying is, if this is a way to call more people and to have more people just join by showing something. Here it is, this is what it's going to be. And it might not be, of course it's not going to be at all the final product probably ever, because it can always be improved, right? Most everything can always be improved, I believe. So but then it just draws more people by showing something, especially such a great idea. And I think we have enough points that we all think is really great to maybe do something like that. And so I'm going back, Brother Jamen, to what you said, maybe a week and a half ago, whenever it was.
Something that always occurs to me is we've got 8 people here, but if we focused all of our attention for even just a short period of time on inviting, I don't know, just go through 20 or 100 people, invite 20 or 100 people, even if only 2 of them showed up for each of us, then there's 3 times more people in the conversation. Increasing the numbers of who's having the conversation increases the power of what we can actually accomplish.
Yeah, so are you saying, what do you think about the idea, like just start that main page with what it is or something like that, and get it out to see if we draw people to it? Do you have any thoughts about that?
Lots of ways we can do it. I mean, one way for myself that I've noticed that works is Facebook pages. Obviously, that's, I mean, I don't think Jamen would like that idea. I don't think Jamen likes Facebook, but there's other platforms, others ways. There's like, just going knocking on people's doors and saying, hey, are you interested in having a conversation about saving the world? Just speaking to your neighbors, speaking to people when you meet them in a shop or anything. But I mean, just inviting more people to engage in the conversation and increase the numbers of people who can actually make change, because numbers is what makes change.
Well, I'll just go back to what I said there. We're going in what you're saying there, Alan. Like, yes, numbers make change, and it's important that we get numbers. But I'll go back to what Sister Ivy is saying as well, is more or less what I was on about. See, when we started before we went to Kiko Labs the other night, I'm not sure if you were there, Alan, know yourself. We started. We set up the calendar. I'm not sure what the name of the calendar was called now, but we put down 1 or 2 meetings, and we just fiddling around with it to see what, how wonders I know. But what I'm saying is, with the block party, the conversation, climate healers, food healers, we already have a number of meetings that are going on that we can populate that calendar with. I think we should set down what meetings we have already going on and populate the calendar with that. We also did the press conference there late last year, and there was over 200 people turned up and offered to have to take a space and take a time on the conversation, on the press conference, to have their own conversations and everything else. A lot of those people, they may not have come back because it didn't really come to fruition as such as we were planning it. But if we get this calendar sorted out, we populate it with what we have, we can also go back to the press conference, the list of people who opted to do and host conversations. We could put those, we can get back onto those people and say, are they still willing to have that conversation on the platform here? And we can put them on the calendar. And once we have that calendar populated with a certain amount, as much as we can, as you said then, Alan, that is our time then for us all to, as you said, pick out a group of conversations that are going on YouTube, that are being posted on YouTube, and we go and network with these people and contact them and offer them a space on the calendar, free platform as well for them, like the Zoom the conversation space, Campfire. It's a free breakout room for anybody who doesn't have a Zoom app or set up themselves. But we need to get the calendar populated first, even in its early stage as it is.
Yeah, well, James, the thing about reaching out to people, the best people to reach out to at this point would probably be reach out to leaders. I mean, if you go in, there's thousands and thousands of websites of people who are trying to make changes in the world. But if we were to reach out to the organizers, you go to the website that's got thousands of people already following it, reach out to whoever's leading that and invite them. Because then you're not inviting one person, you're inviting all of the thousands who are with them.
Yeah, that is exactly what I'm advocating there as well. Like, that is what I'm saying. Like, is that we know that there's conversations taking place on YouTube. People put up their conversations on YouTube, they post them, and they have so many followers or subscribers to their conversation. We obviously, that's exactly what I'm saying. We approach the people who are responsible for hosting those conversations and show them or show them the calendar, what it's all about, and give them the opportunity to put themselves down on it, like, you know what I mean? Even if they're having the conversation on their own platform, their own Zoom meeting, but it's on the calendar, which is what we're trying to do anyway, so that anyone that comes along and uses the calendar. Yeah.
Jamin's got his hand up.
Yeah, carry on, Jim.
Thank you. Good stuff. So I want to propose two things that I think would be accelerators for us. And one thing I'm going to, the two things are the Tesla horse and a basketball analogy, okay? And specifically the basketball scoreboard. Okay, the Tesla horse. Anytime anyone brings up the topic of riding horses, etc., let's all remember that we're talking about mechanical horses that are solar powered, and so I'm going to call them the Tesla horse, just so we avoid confusion and we avoid these conversations about exploiting animals and all that. Anytime anyone mentions horseback, let's all keep in mind we're talking about the Tesla horse and not about a live, breathing, biological horse. That'll save us a lot of time. The second thing that I think will also save us a lot of time, and this is the basketball analogy with emphasis on the basketball scoreboard. So imagine we're playing a basketball game and it's very, very close and we're really determined to win, right? Imagine we're a team, all of us are on the team, the basketball team, and we're determined to win. And we say, well, my goodness, to win, we need to have more numbers on the scoreboard. So we take our attention off the court and look at the scoreboard. And we say, we need more numbers, we need more numbers, we need more numbers. Okay. And we put our attention on the scoreboard. What's going to happen? We all know what's going to happen. The other side is going to score, and our numbers are going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. The point of all this is, let us put our focus on the action at hand, which is first building the calendar and then subsequently promoting the calendar. And if we focus on those two things in that order, building it and promoting it, and part of the promoting it is promoting it precisely to these leaders that we're talking about, right? Then guess what? We'll get way better numbers, exponentially growing numbers on the scoreboard. So the bottom line of both those, the Tesla horse and the basketball scoreboard, the bottom line of both those little parables is, let's focus on the work at hand. And right now, the work is not promoting the calendar. The work is building the calendar in that sequence. Build the calendar, followed by promoting the calendar. Does that make sense? Anyway, passing the talking feather. Thanks.
Right, I guess I'll grab it at this point. I think the promoting the calendar is going to happen very much by people who are on the calendar. So the sooner the calendar is up, the sooner there's people on it. Those people will be promoting it as, so we just got to move forward. And that's all for me right now.
Back to what I was saying earlier, if we go out and invite people who already have thousands of followers on their website, invite these leaders to join the calendar. The calendar is nothing without population, and population is these numbers, and these numbers are these people we need to invite. I mean, if we write an email, I think there's an email being written or began to be written to to invite people. If we focus on at some point on let's all do that. Let's all invite people. Populate that calendar. I mean, doesn't really matter if we're not got the calendar yet. We've got Teamup. We've got that calendar that's already a demonstration of what's possible, and with the promise of it being improved and built and improved upon and advanced and enhanced and changed in the future. But ultimately, it's inviting the population for that calendar that's the main focus, I would think.
Well, let me welcome back, Simon. Let me address that, Alan, because here's exactly how I see it, and this is where I think we should focus. The calendar is not up yet. We don't actually have a calendar up yet. Yes, we've identified Teamup. Yes, we've played with it a little bit, but it's not published. It's not ready. And until it is, there is nothing to promote, and there is nothing to invite people to. So I think it's actually premature at this moment to talk about promoting it when it doesn't yet exist. And I think the work to do right now is to, and Marco, you're not muted. We're getting some background noise there. So I think that the work right now is actually not to focus on promotion of the calendar and invitation, but first get that calendar built and get it defined and built so that we have something really powerful to promote. And then when it's promotion time, then we focus on that. So I think we're getting a bit scattered, and I think that's one of our biggest weaknesses at this moment. I just want to call it out. That's what I think. If you disagree with me, feel free to disagree.
Brother Jamen, I would like to say that is exactly what I saw, and that's why I said, can we just build that calendar? I'm saying I totally agree with what you just said. And that's why I was saying, can we just put some part of it, or the main things of it, or something, so that yeah, we're building that, we are actually doing it. And I know it has a lot of the technical stuff and all that, but I know also we have a lot of very capable people to do that. And also about the promoting, what I understood that Alan meant, and I want to know if that was right, is like, I thought it was good about the idea of making an email, and we know we have someone really good here to make good emails for selling an idea, aka Brother Jamen, and I'm sure there are others, just to let people know, to see if they come and join to help on building it. Was that right, brother? I mean, Alan, is that what you?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, that's what I understood.
I had with Jamen there is, it's like building the calendar first, and then inviting people. It's back to that whole social network. We're the ones who've built it. We're the ones who've got it. You come and join us. But if you invite the people who are going to be members of it and say, "Here, we're going to build this together," and you've got like 100 people in this room, but 90 of them are all members of. They're all leaders of groups of thousands of people who've already got whole groups that they could invite or embed the calendar on their website. Getting them all together and saying, "Hey, we're building this calendar. How do you feel about this way or that way?" And getting them together to actually build the calendar. And even if we do have Teamup calendar as a basic demonstration and say this is not it, but this is the idea. Just so that we've got something to present to people, but getting the people who are going to be on board with that in right on the first stage to sort of put up their hand and say, yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, we like that. Or, I mean, if you got 100 people in here who they're all group leaders and 99% of them said, oh, we think that's a rubbish idea. Maybe we should think of a different way of presenting the calendar. Maybe we should change it to looking more like that. And oh yeah, that's definitely how we would like it. Yeah, we'll all embed that calendar on our website. Just getting those voices in here.
Well, I think that's pretty much how Brother Jamen always thinks. That's what I have always heard from him, is everybody, pitching in, everybody, all that.
I know, that's what I like about Jamen.
Yeah. I think it's a great idea to write an email that we can share with those people that we know are like-minded and have good ideas and good, I don't want to say expertise, but just for the lack of another word, and can bring ideas, although anyone can, of course. You don't have to know about, have titles. We know all that. But I think that was a good idea. And then we can quickly send that email and we can make some little changes if we think it's better for the person or something. But there's something like already like, one main thing. It makes it easier and quicker to share with other people. So I'm just going with that idea and see people like that. I know it will be very easy to just do something like that to see if we bring more people to collaborate. We're talking about what we all love and believe in, collaborate and cooperate in this, and try to get it out. So
it goes down in history as being a collaborative project of hundreds of different leaders who all created this platform. It's going to have so much more impact on the world than, oh yeah, that's that thing that those 8 people from that, what were they called again? ICIC or something? Yeah, they did that. It's their idea, as opposed to, oh yeah, there was 100 of different groups all got together and created this. It's this amazing collaborative project. It would have more impact on bringing more people in, wouldn't it?
Yes. This is and this is one of the very big complaints that the indigenous had in some meetings that I was at. They said that. They said, they always call us after they have decided everything. I just was reminded, I'm just sharing this because it's such an important point, really. And that's what you're making this point. And they said they call us when they have decided everything, when they saw what was the best and everything. Then they call us to say, okay, here's what we're going to do. Here's what you need to follow or whatever. And so, yeah, I think that's a great point. And I know, especially the leaders here are all for that. We are just, I guess, pointing it out to see and make sure we follow that. So thank you all.
We've got Marco and then Jamen, I think. Marco.
I'm pretty sure I forgot what my hand was up for, so just pass me over for now.
All right. Jamen is next, and just raise your hand when it comes back to you, Marco, and welcome back, Simon. So it sounds to me like we're actually in agreement. And what I would like to propose is that we work toward a step-by-step plan so that we graduate from talking about all this to taking the step-by-step actions. Here is the next action I would propose, but before we shift and actually take that action, let's talk about it for a few minutes. Let's make sure we're in agreement, because I really like our model of talk first and then action, but talk to a point and then act. But I think we're very close. So here's what I propose, and let me put it in the chat. So I'm going to put step one that I propose is that we build out a basic, and I'm talking about something we can put together in 30 minutes to 60 minutes maximum before the end of this current session. A basic Teamup calendar, with with a link that people can see what's on it. Step two is populate that calendar with our own stuff, right? Starting with every Monday and Thursday, 8 a.m. to 12 noon Pacific, meeting on co-creating the Chrysalis calendar, right? And then we can then share the calendar and say, look, here's what we're doing for starters. Here's our starting point. It's just a starting point. And then step three is, okay, when I say our stuff, it also includes, I'll just put this in here, includes, the block party. It includes the press conference.
Excuse me, brother. Do you think you can share the screen and we can see it, or would that be a good idea?
Share the screen and see what exactly? What are you proposing that we see?
What you type in, is that a good idea?
Well, first, it's a great idea. And second of all, it's in the chat, so you should be able to see it already. I'm typing it into the chat. Can you not see the chat?
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Yep, you're welcome. Okay, so populating the calendar with our own stuff, that includes the block party, press conference, Glassbeads game, any other events, right? Amazon, all the other events that we have. And there's a bunch of stuff, Our Hearts Gardens. We've got a whole bunch of stuff already there, right, that we can put up on there. And then finally, step three is share the calendar with an email inviting I'm just going to call it the group of 100 per Allen, 100 leaders of 100 communities to put their meetings on the calendar, and B, join us to continue co-creating the calendar. Anyway, that's my specific proposal for the next three steps that I think encompasses pretty much all the things we've been talking about in the last half an hour or so. Anyway, I'd love to hear people's thoughts, or if you have a different proposal for next steps, happy to hear that too. Anyway, with that, I'll pass the talking feather. Thank you.
I have thought about the times. Is it possible to have it later, like a 9 to 1 or something like that? Does it work for everybody? I'm just tossing it out there. It will be great if it can be at 9 instead, but I'm just wondering what works for everybody.
Yeah, the reason I started earlier, I used to start at 11 on Mondays and Thursdays, but the reason I made it 3 hours earlier, and okay, James will be right back. The reason I've started 3 hours earlier is precisely so that folks in other countries, notably Malini in India, where it's 12 and a half hours later, and Alan in Scotland, where it's 8 hours later, Simon in England, 8 hours later, et cetera, it's just kind of a sweet spot. And of course, look, if you, for
Okay.
example, Sister Ivy, can't make it at 8, but it's better at 9, just join at 9, no problem. People come and go, and we're never going to find a perfect time that's perfect for everyone. So we're just trying to find a happy medium. Yeah.
Thank you for the reminder of those, yes, late hours and everything. I just tossing it out there to see what happened. Also, I like the group of the 100, but we know let's not limit it to 100, just us here. But that's funny, like the group of 100 per island. So,
No, I'm just using
no.
these words very, very loosely. Obviously, we mean 1,000. Obviously, we mean 10,000. Obviously, we mean 100,000,
Of
et cetera.
course.
But I'm just saying, for starters, this low-hanging fruit.
Of course. No, I like you humor always. That's so great. And everybody's humor. We need that. Oh my God, that's just the sweetness of conversations. Thank you.
All right, so there is a proposed plan on the table. It's in the chat. Step 1, step 2, step 3. And James, I know you lost your image. I don't know if you can, you may have lost that. So I'm going to go ahead and copy paste those 3 steps back into the chat so we can all see it. Step 1, just copying, pasting right now. And feel free to jump in and comment, everyone. Whether you agree, whether you disagree, if you like the plan but something's missing, say, hey, Jamen, I like the plan but something's missing, whatever. But let's come up with a plan, and then let's work the plan. Plan your work and work your plan. Right now we're planning our work.
I have a question. What was his name? Derman or something? The guy that lives in Argentina, or in, was it Argentina or he? Remember last week, and he seemed to know a lot about building, the technical part. You know who I'm talking about?
Oh, Julian. He was in Brazil, but he's a medical student in Argentina, a young guy.
Yeah.
He
hasn't come back. He hasn't come back because I missed one meeting. Unfortunately, I just missed.
No, he hasn't been back since Friday, but he's on my mailing list. Hopefully he'll be back soon, hopefully today or tomorrow. We also have an open invitation from him to promote on his server whatever we're doing here. And so that's part of the logic of getting this initial calendar built and initial messaging out there so that we can then populate it on his server and lots of other places.
Part of what you've spoken about with the calendar is actual conversations. How about actual communities? I mean, I know Eric and Simon, maybe not, I don't know if Simon, you weren't there today, but Eric had the conversation today with a group of people actually creating a community, a physical inland community with buildings and structure and people getting together, trying to create a self-sustaining community. What about a part of the calendar that is specifically focused on actual communities as well as actual conversations?
No, all of the above. I mean, they can be, but in the end, what's going to be on the calendar are going to be meetings. If there are meetings about actual communities, great. Right? I don't think there's any restriction to the kind of content that the meetings are going to be about, other than that it's about global transformation. But since you mentioned Simon, I wanted to also comment about some of the things that I wanted to share with Simon earlier about his really awesome points. So I'd like to do that and then get back to finalizing a plan so that we can actually work the plan and get this out there. So, Simon, loved all the points you made before you broke away. Here were my reactions. Number one, imagine that the calendar itself, the Chrysalis calendar, has a bunch of scheduled starting points or even seed crystals. Hey, let's meet here at this time with this initial seed crystal, with this initial topic or set of topics or whatever, and then let it branch out from there very spontaneously. So that's one thought, right? Not that that would be the only use for the calendar, but that's one of the uses. Another use. So let's say that in addition to the calendar, we continue to have this room open 24/7 so that people can show up spontaneously at any time 24/7 and say, hey, I want to talk about this. Rutabaga permaculture. Great. Form a breakout room called Rutabaga Permaculture. And then listen to this. People here in the 24/7 room, the Campfire, could post on the homepage of chrysaliscalendar.org under the section on the homepage, topics being discussed right now. They would type in Rutabaga Permaculture with a link to the room where that topic is being discussed right now. Okay. Another point, and this gets back to another thing Simon said, which is, hey, we should have a 24/7 conversation about the chrysalis, about transforming the economy. I would say also about transforming governance, transforming culture, transforming our story, just global transformation, a 24/7 conversation about that. That's ongoing. And that led me to another thought, which is, let us then have two parallel 24/7 Zoom rooms. One is about exactly that, an ongoing conversation about the chrysalis, whose fire never goes out. People just join, talk. It's ongoing. And the second one would literally be this room, the Campfire, that's all about coordination, directing traffic. Hey, what's going on right now? Well, there's 17 different conversations going on right now. This one's about this one's about that. Go to the homepage and you can see all of them. Any questions? Like that. So it's like sort of a 24/7 information booth on the chrysalis and the conversations happening therein. Also, it was floated out there, hey, maybe we have a doodle poll for scheduling. Doodle poll is great. I was also thinking we could have some dedicated Reddit threads. Reddit they're kind of like the masters of asynchronous text-based communication. And why not? Let's have one or more Reddit threads about scheduling. Hey, who wants to meet up and talk about this? For me, Thursday works great. What about you? Oh yeah, Thursday works great for me too. Okay, great. Bam, it's on the calendar, right? Because let's face it, there's two kinds of people in the world. The kind that divide the world into two groups and the kind that don't. No, just kidding. There's two kinds of people in the world, right? The kind who like to schedule stuff and the kind who like to just show up. Let's accommodate both. Let's have room for both. And that gets back to my point, Alan, I see you got your hand up. I'll pass you the talking feather in a second. Sounds like a quick interjection, but just hold your fire because I'm almost done. I really wanted to get Simon's points responded to. So let's have room for both. And, yes, you can schedule stuff on the calendar. And again, even a starting point conversation, which can then branch spontaneously. So even that is a hybrid between scheduled and spontaneous. You see what I'm saying? And so now another way of framing the two 24/7 rooms, one could be called the Chrysalis Campfire, where it's all about, directing traffic, information booth, etc. The other could be called the Chrysalis Pub, where you just show up and bam, you're in the middle of the Chrysalis conversation, right? The Chrysalis Pub. And the idea is the pub, that's where the conversation just flows, like a Kiko Lab meeting that just flows, and we don't really break to direct traffic or anything like that. It just flows. The Campfire, the Chrysalis Campfire, is all about directing traffic. With that, I'm complete. Thank you all for listening. And Alan had his hand up. Go for it, Alan.
Yeah, all I was going to say was back to your idea of the snack bar. There's a lot of being said by yourself and Kiko Labs about recording everything, transcribing everything, having this massive historical record of everything. But very few people are really going to read through hundreds of hours of videos and transcribed records and read through it all. But these little snippets, these little snack bar kind of like 3-minute videos, we get them made up. If you've got at some point the maximum of the whole 50 breakout rooms all open, all on different subjects, and someone says, well, I'm interested in coming along to have a conversation about what's going on, and when they first come into the conversation is broken up, and then everybody's got to stop and everybody's got to sit and wait while it's explained to this new person, blah, 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 blah. This is what we're talking about. This is what we're all about, blah, blah, blah. But if there's that like little nugget, that little snack, as you've called it, here, go and watch this video. Or even if they've found the conversation through finding that snack and they've come through that is really important to have these like short, brief, somebody who's really good at editing all the videos that have been transcribed and finding the real impact of all the important statements, all the important things that really sort of summarize it into a short 2 to 5 minute video.
It's interesting. I'm going to have a meeting in the next week or so with a couple of brothers who have been developing a technology exactly like what you're talking about. Of, hey, there's this whole meeting that just happened. They've actually created some AI-driven software to do exactly that and kind of consolidate it down. So anyway, more updates on that soon. Really great stuff. Loving this. Yeah, go ahead, Sister Ivy.
Yeah, okay. Well, I just want to keep on the conversation about those 3 steps. We are pretty much the regulars here. I know James will come back hopefully soon, but
James is
just
back. James is back.
Okay. Oh, good. So this will take a commitment of 2 mornings, and I'm just kind of keeping it there, are we for these 3 steps then? Do we all agree? And are we to commit to those 2 mornings so that we get this really good push? I guess that's the idea, right? And, let's just talk right over the plan. I would like to know if everyone is good, is committed, and if we can do it or whatever.
All right, great. I'm in agreement. Let's talk about the steps. So in the chat are the steps that I'm proposing. Simon, by the way, Simon, do you see step 1, step 2, step 3 in the chat, or did you join after I posted those?
No, I got it.
You got it? Okay, step 1. Oh, that's right. Okay, because you were here the whole time, or your computer was here the whole time. Okay, fair enough. Okay, great. So that's my proposal for next steps. If anyone has questions or comments, out with them. If anyone has anything alternative plan, a completely different proposal, whatever the case, but let's plan our work so that we can then work our plan. Any comments on plan? Comments or questions, please?
I have a question. Is there any other day than Monday that you could? those hours.
Yeah. So of course we have the block party on Friday, and also, part of the logic here is not everyone has to be at all the meetings. We have several meetings partly so that different people can show up, and it's very easy to give a quick recap. Hey, here's where we're at. Screen share the calendar. Here's the email that we've drafted up. Here's who we're sending it to. So it's very easy to update people. So Fridays by default from 10 to noon are also going to be Chrysalis Calendar, maybe even 9 to noon, depending on whether the Amazon folks show up at 9. And even in the other meetings, we'll be talking increasingly about it. The food healers meetings, notably, because they've got a whole vegan calendar that we'd love to get up on the Chrysalis calendar, for example. So, so lots of Friday will be spent on the Chrysalis calendar as well.
Yes, I guess we all have Friday out because we're pretty regular on the Friday. So yes, any other day? I'm just asking. Any other day, Brother Jamen, that you could not Monday, or is that the only day you can?
No, I mean Monday works great. I like Monday mornings because it kind of gets the week off rolling with it at the top of the week. And so, I mean,
Okay.
I am, go ahead, Sister Ivy.
No, I'm saying, okay, I just wanted to ask if there's any other morning than Monday, but that's all. Thank you.
Yeah, and by the way, this is a perfect example of the need for the Chrysalis calendar. Let's say you wanted to propose a meeting on Tuesday to talk about the Chrysalis calendar. You could just do it and put it up on the Chrysalis calendar. That's why we need the calendar so badly.
There you go.
You know what I'm talking about? So
Yeah.
again, back to the urgency now that we talk
Yes.
about the plan. Let's get the plan settled so we can start working the
Yes.
plan. I'd love to actually build that first version literally on this meeting if we can get there. So with a view to that, any other questions or comments about either the plan I proposed or an alternate plan? Passing the talking feather.
Sister Ivy, were you here on Monday when we actually did that? Eric actually started literally building the calendar on screen share.
No, that's the meeting that I said that I missed. No. But I've seen a lot of the design, actually a good couple of times that Brother Jamen had, and it was great and everybody liked it. No, but if there's a recording of that, I would love to, maybe Marco can update me on that or something, or I
But
mean,
it was a great feeling that we've been talking about it for such a long time, and it was like Monday there we were actually doing it. It was, yeah.
Oh, great. That's the meeting that I wasn't here. But was there a recording of that?
Yeah, we actually did. I haven't published it. Let me make a note of that so I can publish that.
Or if you can just email it to me, I will watch it.
I will do that.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, any other, I mean, are we all good? I'm good. Totally committed. This is, yeah, that's what we're talking about. That's why we need it. So let's get it rolling.
Can I say a few things?
Anyone else?
Yeah, if I may. I'm with everybody. Alan, I think you're right. It was nice to actually see something happening, regardless of how inadequate it is, or it's a start. You know, it's my experience. It's a lot easier to develop something from something. So you get it up and you see how it works, see what works, what doesn't work.
Did Eric make anyone else admin on that, or invite anyone else to that? So
I don't know, but you know, he's registered it presumably. I don't know if he registered it in his name, it doesn't matter. So we need to follow
just if Eric had invited any of us that are here, we could have sort of continued building it now even.
Yeah, well, Eric will be here in 45 minutes for the glass speed game, so if he turns up a bit earlier, we can ask him.
Well,
Well,
I've
we
got
could maybe-
I've
we
got
could
an
maybe get a
alternate.
breakout.
I've got an alternate proposal is, let me just go ahead and create one, get a premium plan, whatever. So it has all the features that we need. And then we've got it. I mean, Eric just, did some very basic playing around. We got to explore the features, but I say, let's build it, and let's build it in this meeting. We've got 45 minutes. Let's get started. But before then, are there any more questions or comments about the plan itself? Step 1, step 2, step 3, please, so that we can get rolling.
Yeah, I mean, whilst I was away, I had a bite to eat and a shower. This metaphor of the club, the pub, as you put it, or the Catalyst Tavern, whatever you want to call it. I think there's a lot to be learned from the mindset of, what it is, what a club is, what makes you go there, what makes you stay, what makes you go back again. And if you think about the chemistry that takes place within that context, I think there's things to be learned. I really love what you said, Jamen, about being able to go and see what's being discussed. Because if you think about it, very often when you go into a club or a pub or whatever, and there's a group of people that have been there for a while, the thing that people will very often say is, hey, what are we talking about? So you can get into the conversation. That's the first question. What are we talking about here? And then you feel involved. Another thing that I think would be really handy, and I don't know whether this is practical, again, within the context of our own experiences with a club or a pub, sometimes you walk in and there's a couple of people there that you want to see, or there's somebody you want to get to know better. There's also the aspect that you'll walk in and there's somebody you just don't like, you don't want to be with. So I don't know how practical this, but it'd be really nice to see a breakout room with a conversation and know who's already in there. Because then you could think, well, because it's embarrassing, if you walk into and start and you want to leave quickly. I know we come and go from these things fairly regularly, but if you knew,
if you're a co-host, you can see who's in the conversation already.
Right. Well, I think that would be really, to promote that aspect. So you turn up there and you really get on well with, perhaps it's a continuation of a conversation you had previously. So that aspect, you actually see who's in a breakout room before you join it, I think would be a really neat benefit as a function.
Step 1, step 2 of Jamen's list. Once Eric shows up in 45 minutes, we could get that done. Even if there's something else going on here in the main room, we could get a breakout room. So far,
Eric is due, but he's due for a specific reason. It's the glass bead case, so we won't have any.
I mean, if Jamen, if he just adds Jamen or someone else as an admin to that site, then they can log in and do the editing. And then step 3, well, we could probably do that now. Let's just write an email to invite these 100 leaders.
Yeah, let's try and do some positive stuff, whether we use it or not, whether we follow through on it. Let's try and think about the things that we would do to move this forward.
Well, I propose we go ahead with what Jamen was just saying there, and we just let Jamen start another one altogether, and we just get going rather than waiting on him. Because we only did the other night, we only did get a very brief time on setting up that calendar the other night because we were waiting on the Kiko Lab meeting, and there was only 2 entries put into it really just to figure out the settings on it. So I think we should just go ahead with some of the settings do require premium, as Jamen said, like. So maybe we should just go ahead and make a new one. It's not, it won't be anything off of the efforts the other night or anything at all. Like it's just, being a little bit more efficient at the moment with the time we have.
And there's nothing.
I wouldn't jump into premium too quickly though, because trying to sell you the ability to upload a picture. If they're letting you do it through Dropbox for free, charging you for it is like, so it's a bit cheeky.
Well, let's explore all the features of premium. I can screen share and we can just take a good look at it because there may be other basic settings that we need to talk about. But anyway, that's all in step 1. Right now we're at step 0, which is conversation about the plan. And Marco has his hand. Go for it, Marco.
Right. I think the main benefit of premium is you can brand it. You can drop the team. You can drop their branding in favor of Chrysalis, I think, which would be nice.
Well, brother Jamen was ready to go. So some minutes ago, is that okay that we just get onto it? Everybody okay?
Yeah, let's not rush it because Marco has something to say. Let's complete step
Oh,
0,
okay.
which is conversation, before we get to step 1, which we're not even necessarily in agreement on yet. So Marco, go for it.
Yeah, I think sometimes we're thinking too hard about the next thing we want to say, that we're not paying attention to the conversation, because we already said, I know we're not going to hurt Eric's feelings if we go ahead and start a new, a premium, and we go with it and get it done. That if that's a consideration anybody has. As far as the inviting email goes, we already have one done multiple different ways from ICIC that we could take as a draft and work from that. So we're way ahead on that already. And I think we just need to just get started. We have enough stuff to put on the calendar already, and once it's there and we keep adding, I know we're going to have to integrate at some point to something different, but I think we played, when we played with it Monday, everybody agreed that this seems good enough to go. So I don't know why we're, I know it's good to be thorough, but I think we're kind of smashing the transistors on the electronic horse that's died.
I just have one point that I hate to do this to you, Jamie, but when you turn up at a conversation, you walk into a club or a pub, the first thing you do is you buy a drink. You don't go in and sit down and, the bar owner's got overheads and whatever. So you can go in and not buy a drink, but it's rude to do so. So one thing that occurred to me is that sort of a hybrid with Milani's thoughts was that if you turn up at any time within the month, you buy a drink, which is $1, but you can nurse that drink for the entire month. So once you've bought your drink, you're in for the month. And if you disappear for a couple of months, you come back and then you buy another drink for $1. It's just a thought.
And also we did agree that we were going to leave the money out of the conversations today and have a separate day to talk about it.
Yeah,
separate meeting to talk about money.
Just Ross, it was on my mind, Marco, in terms of, Jamin's talking about premium membership again. Is
True.
Well, I think we're starting to go around the circle. Anyway, so I reckon we should quit the shit and cut the cake and get on with building it.
Yeah, that great Irish saying of quit the shit and cut the cake, I think is very applicable right now. I'm going to feed the crows, and then let's create as we say in Ireland, let's create the fucking calendar already. Let's quit the fucking shit and cut the fucking cake. Shall we do it? But first I got to feed the crows.
What Marco just said about we don't have to wait for Eric to show back up. We could just it was only about 5 minutes worth of work they did, wasn't it? We could redo all of that and finish it almost.
I think we're in violent.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree with everything. Yes, I agree with everything, except the many F words that probably we don't need to save the world with those, but that's just my own thing. But let's just do the important thing, right?
I think, and pardon the F words, I think that's just when some of us guys get impatient with going around in circles too much. Then we start dropping F.
And I've been saying, let's get going. Yes, I've been saying, let's get going. I say like you say, brother Jamen, take it away.
All right.
I think the bad language is the bad influence of Eric. It's rubbing off on all of us.
That's right. I think we're honoring Eric a bit too much with that. So All right, it feels like we're either done with step 0 or almost done. Is there anything more that needs to be said before we cut the cake?
Nope.
Take it away, Brother Jamie. That's what we need again.
Well, step 1, step 2 is either we wait 45 minutes for Eric and we get started on finishing the calendar, or we just redo all of that work. And
Eric is coming here for a purpose to host the glass bead game.
All right, I just want to address what Alan raised, which I think is the final stumbling block. What's on the table now, Alan, is that we start a whole new account, probably a premium account, and we create it. It'll be in my name because I'm going to pay for the premium stuff anyway. And, you know, that way I can, you know, add permissions or whatever. So what's on the table now is that, oh, and here's Eric. So, all right, we've gone in circles enough that Eric finally showed up. So here we go. Let's update Eric. And then with his blessing, I'll just go ahead and create a premium one. Eric, welcome.
Eric, we're all waiting for you.
Evening all.
Hi, Eric.
Sorry,
Eric.
am I late? Listen, I've got a lot last night. Sorry, but I I have. There's only so many hours in the day. I've had to do watering today as well, and yeah, I was on for 3 hours this afternoon, and all day on Zoom kills me. So anyway, whatever. Nice to see you all. Simon, why'd you disappear so quickly? You turned up this afternoon, I noticed, and then you were gone before I even sort of had a chance to say hello.
Same thing that you said. So only so many hours in a day. So you got to pace yourself, haven't you?
Fair enough. Yeah, no, I completely understand.
Eric, we are so just so glad that you're here, and everybody was talking about you. I tell you that because of the Chrysalis Calendar, and here you are. So thank you for being here. And Brother Jamie was about to start. So shall we get
Eric
going?
has just posted in the chat. Jamin's posted step 1, step 2, step 3. But step 1, step 2 depends on getting on with the calendar.
Would
Right,
somebody be good enough to copy paste those back into the chat for Eric's benefit?
No,
I
no,
just
it's
did
here.
that.
I've
I just
got it.
did that.
He's done it. He's done it. It's here.
Okay, great.
There's likely going to be some people turning up for glass bead games at noon. You know that, right?
Oh yeah, and we'll respect that. We'll absolutely respect that. In fact, what we might do is just those of us who want to keep on building the calendar, we might just go to a breakout room and continue.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, that
And
works.
then you'll have the main room. You'll be host. You'll have full control, Eric, for the glass bead game.
I gave Simon the login details for the calendar, so you should have been able to get on. Yeah, sorry I didn't come last time, but I really wasn't feeling great. I had a bit of a chill. But yeah, I gave Simon the login details. Hopefully you should have been able to get to it. Were you able to get to it?
No, I didn't even realize you had it, Eric. I'm sorry about that.
I sent you an email saying I'm not going to be at the meeting today, but here's the login details for the calendar if you want to play with it.
Eric, if you give those login details to Jamin, he wants to upgrade it to.
Well, I'll put it in the thing now. I
Premium.
mean, I'll put it in the chat now. You can all have it. What's the thing called? My team? Teamup? What's it called?
Teamup.
Teamup. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's my email address that Liberate Mankind, and it's Teamup101 is the password with a capital T.
Mighty email address. Thank you.
All right. So one other sort of
You got that
administrative.
email, Simon? It's like 3 days ago I sent it. I sent it on Tuesday when I wasn't able to come to the meeting on Tuesday. I sent it to you before the meeting on Tuesday, so that you would have it to play with in the meeting on Tuesday if you wanted to.
So one other one thing about that is, since we're probably going to do the premium account, which I'm happy to spring for, why don't I just create a new one in my name, and then that way I can pay for it and share it out with whoever that, you know, rather than have, I mean, is everyone okay with that? I mean, I suppose we could, that way we, you know, that way, I mean, if I'm going to be paying for it, which I'm very happy to do, then it could be in my name as the,
Why not?
huh?
Yeah, why not? Sounds good.
Okay. So in half an hour.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. Let's see. So so in half an hour, we'll start. I mean, Eric, are you okay with that? Since you took the lead on it, I'd like to get your blessing.
Yeah. No, absolutely. No, I mean, I only did it because nobody else wanted to. It's not like I claim no ownership over it.
All right. Okay, good. So let me then screen share and let's look at, you know, whatever kind of fundamental starting points in terms of premium or whatever fundamental choices about the account. So let me go ahead and screen share that. By the way, we are recording, which I think is good. And thanks for that info. Let me go ahead and pull it up on the screen and we can look at the options.
Just one thing I would say, Jamie, what is it specifically about the free account that it can't do that you want it to do?
Well, for one thing, upload images, but there may be other things, branding and whatnot. So let's just first, let's take a minute and just screen share and take a look and see. I mean, look, if this is going to be the back, yeah.
Sorry. No, the only reason I ask is that this is unlikely to be the final version, right? This is just something for us to piss around with to get a feel for making a calendar, and we're going to make our own one in the long, you know, in the not so distant future. So listen, I don't know what the financial commitment is, whether you can just sign up for a month or two and then stop, or whether you're committed for a year or whatever. I'm just saying it may, you know, it may not be necessary.
Yeah. My feeling is we're probably going to be pissing around with it for a few months until we get our own code developed. So because the Chrysalis calendar is such a fundamental backbone to saving and healing and transforming life on Earth, I'm not at all concerned about, you know, spending a few dollars on it or whatever it is. So anyway, but let's just take a look. Let's look before we buy. So I'm going to go ahead and screen share. Where did I have it here?
I've just realized I mistyped my email address in the window, but I'm sure you've all figured that out for yourselves anyway. I've left the E out after, at the end of Liberate.
All right. Let me, okay. Wait, why is it, what the heck is going on? It's not showing me. All right. Let me
Okay,
figure this.
meanwhile, excuse me, one question. I had to step out for a minute. What are we to do with this email? I don't want to miss something. So can you please just tell me what I need to do?
No, I don't think there's anything you need to do other than
Okay.
stand by while Jamen figures out how to screen share the Teamup.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Okay, so let me try this again. Okay, here we go. Third time's the charm. Okay. All right, so Teamup. So pricing, let's see what the different plans and possibilities are. Premium, $20 a month, 3-day free trial. That's nice. So we can try it up to 50 sub calendars. Option to more sub calendars. Okay.
No, file and image upload doesn't come with that. So if we're going to do it, it's the premium, isn't it?
Yeah. Let's just take a look at enterprise here for a second. Custom fields, that's an interesting thing. And presumably we can upgrade if we want. So maybe we start with premium. Oh, and they do have a monthly option. So we can just pay $24 a month if we don't want to bite off the full year. Maybe we start with that because we may be wanting to upgrade to enterprise anyway at some point, probably to have more custom fields. And different.
I'll tell you what's worth trying as well is start going through the registration process and then right at the end click off it, and they usually offer you a deal at that point. Yeah, so as you don't click off.
All right. Okay, very good. Now, but okay, so let's go to product. Let's go back to product here for a second. So I mean, first of all, are we sure this is something that we can embed into our website? I can't imagine it wouldn't be, but let's make sure. And they also have live demos and all that. Let's see.
Where embedding's not possible, framing is possible for any website.
Yeah.
Oh, framing versus embedding. Please explain the difference.
Well, embedding
image.
is you actually have the app on your site, where framing is you get to look at it from any website.
Okay. But anyway, the bottom line is we'll be able to put it up onto chrysaliscalendar.org. That's the fundamental thing. And is the answer yes, we can do that?
One way or another. That's what.
One way or another. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, I say we go ahead and let me go and start with the 3-day free trial. Calendar name, Chrysalis Calendar. My email, English, time zone, Pacific. Show all time zone. No, we don't need to do that. Okay. Subscription plan, 3-day pre-trial, premium.
Probably do want to show all time zones.
All right. Show all time zones. Okay. Might as well subscribe since we're getting into it. And let's create the calendar. And we are recording, everybody. Your new calendar is ready. Here's my email. Please follow instructions in that email to activate your Teamup account. Okay, I'm going to stop screen sharing just so that in case since we are recording. And
in case he's got any embarrassing emails.
Embarrassing emails or videos up on there that I might not want people to know that I watch in my spare time. That was a joke. Somebody please laugh so I don't feel creepy. Okay. Thank you, Alan. Thank you.
I was laughing on the inside.
Laughing on the inside. Okay. All right. Invitation. To complete the creation of your Teamup account, open the following activation link in a web browser, not the Teamup app. All right. Click. And okay, they're asking me to create a password. So I'll create one and I'll just share it around with us. Since this video might be published, I'm not going to speak it out just yet.
You may not have to share the password because it's a Teamup. You may just have to invite team members.
Yeah,
Oh.
you can
create their own password.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you just need to input email addresses into the invite fields.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Just a second, doing some administrative stuff that I always do when I create a new.
Yeah, you're very good like that, Jamen. I have to say, you're very good like that. Very well organized. You do it in the moment. That's why, right? You do it straight away. Don't leave it. I leave it.
Not exactly.
Yeah, if I do that, then the next day I think, what was that new password?
Yeah, that's right. What was that thing I was supposed to
They
do?
asked me
Exactly.
to add just one extra character because the password was too easy. So they asked me to add one character. What was the character?
Exactly.
I can't remember.
Yeah, absolutely.
You need,
Very
Alan, you need to
entertaining.
download the app. What was that damn character? It's a great little app. Okay. All right. And now start using your calendar. Okay. All right, here we are. And let me just check one thing. Calendar is now ready. Okay, so now I can go back to screen sharing again. All right, so here we are. Now, first of all, okay, so this URL. First of all, I'm going to copy this URL and paste it in the chat. And if I could get a couple volunteers to test it out and just ensure that that takes you somewhere. see if that makes that visible, and I'll go back to screen sharing.
Yeah, it wants me to log in.
Oh, it wants you to log in. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. All right. Well, in that case,
That's
let's.
because that's the edit. You're in the editing. You're in the editing screen. That's why. That's not
Okay.
the public screen. That's the editing screen.
Okay. Well, here, let me just put something in here real quick. Let me just put the Monday and let's see, is Monday the 4th?
Just click on the start time, Jamie. You don't need to highlight the whole thing. Just click on the start time.
Oh, okay. Wait, but here, wait, Monday was the 5th, right? Discard changes. Okay. Because today's Thursday the 8th. So Monday would have been the 5th. I just want to put in, okay, so let me click on the
You'll have
start
to go
time.
to the 12th then, because Monday the 5th is gone. You'll have to go to the 12th.
Yeah, but I'm going to make it recurring anyway. So let's, but in honor of what Eric just said, let me indeed then go to the next week. Okay, Monday the 12th, here we go. So 8 a.m. to 12 noon, 8 to noon on the 12th, and it repeats weekly, every Monday, forever. Done. And let's just put
You can edit that elsewhere. Just call it calendar 1 for now. You can edit what calendar 1 says later.
okay, fair enough. Who, where?
You have to add people who are invited.
Okay.
That's when members join the calendar. You
All
know
right.
who's you until you invite people.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me. Okay, Sister Ivy's back. Here, I'm going to get off screen share for a second so I can get the Zoom link, and I'm just going to put the where in the Zoom link just for, because I think that makes sense. And then I'll screen share back in a second.
I'm right here. Just needed to change for my cell phone and leave, but I'll be with you guys.
Very good, Sister Ivy. Thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to put the Zoom link in the where. That seems like a good expression of the where. Okay, and now I'll go back to screen sharing it. Screen share. Okay. Boom. There's the where. And I'll just say weekly meeting on the co-creation of the Chrysalis calendar. Please note that we also meet for the same purpose every Monday and Thursday, 8 a.m., 12 noon Pacific, and every Friday, I'll just put 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Okay. And
copy that text, and you can use it pretty much for all the other entries as well when you put them in. You have to tweak it a little bit, right? But you can basically use it for all the other entries.
Okay, and let me show you why I like to drag, because if I drag, then I don't have to type in 8 a.m. to 12 noon.
Ah, okay. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. I did not know that. You're right. Dragging's easier.
Okay, and then
it's not quite the same. You do need to tweak that text. You need to change Monday and Thursday to whatever it is.
Okay, let me do that.
Oh no, hang on. Sorry, no, you don't, because you've included the Monday in the Monday. So actually, that works for all of them. My apologies. That works for all of them.
No
it just
problem.
means you're mentioning the meeting in the text also, but it's fine. It's fine.
No problem. Okay. Okay, I have to get back to that. Whoops. Sorry, the Zoom thing is in the way. I'm gonna have to stop screen sharing for a moment and get back to there. Okay. All right. And then back to screen share. Okay. All right. And oh yeah, enter event title. And then what did I call it on the previous one? I don't think I called it anything. So let's go ahead and put an event title of it.
Chrysalis Calendar, I think.
Chrysalis Calendar co-creation. I'll put co-creation meeting. Chrysalis Calendar co-creation meeting. And I'll copy that, save the meeting, and then I'll go back here and call it the same thing, save that meeting. There are multiple events in this series. How would you like to change it? All events. Isn't that cool? Oh yeah, and then here we need to make that this repeats every week, forever, every Thursday. Everybody clear on that? You see that? I just don't want to go too fast. I want to make sure everyone's seeing all this. Okay. And then done. Okay. And that's one of the advantages of recording. The event editor unsave, yes, save the changes. Okay, good. So now both of these are recurring. You see this little double arrow that indicates recurring. Sorry about the small font. And then Friday, let's go ahead and put 10 a.m. to noon. Same thing. I think event title was the last thing. Yep. And we'll make this recurring as well. Repeat weekly, forever, done, calendar 1, where, well, let me save it for now, and then I'll just copy the Zoom link over here. Boop. Where, boop, and then description. Save, apply to all events.
Is that section there where it says where it doesn't look like it's an editable area? Will that be a link or will that just be, because if you put it in description, it'll be a clickable link.
Oh, good point. Okay, so let's go. Let me go ahead then and copy the Zoom link and put it in the link down in the description down here. These.
So for where, just say see description.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or Zoom, yeah, Zoom see description. Yeah.
Okay. Let me get rid of some empty spaces there. And here we'll put C description, Zoom link.
Did that copy and paste in the link automatically make it a link, or do you need to select it and clicked on the link, which is a little little symbol? You might need to make it a link. It doesn't look like it's a link.
Okay, here, yeah, here's this button here, insert edit link. Let me just click on it and see what happens.
Yeah, you'll have to put put the URL in there. That's it.
Okay. All right. Title. Do we want to put a title or just leave it? Huh?
Zoom meeting.
Zoom meeting open to all.
Click here. Click here.
Click here. Okay. So now let me just copy that whole block so I can update the others. See description for Zoom link for the where. Save all events. And then let me go back here and update it here. Now, presumably that, and then see description for Zoom link. Save all events and then go back here. Save all events. Okay. Now we're talking. All right.
You want to create new calendars so you get different colors for,
Yeah.
you know.
Should we do that next? Should we edit? Should we edit the calendars next? If you go over to calendar 1, calendar 2 on the left, you click on underneath there. I think is the edit
It's
function.
appear on the calendar as blue at the moment, but calendar 2 is red.
Add it. Okay, so let's put calendar 1. Well, what do we want to call calendar 1 anyway?
Chrysalis meetings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's enough of them. There's enough of them. Weekly Chrysalis meetings can be calendar 1.
Oh, very good. Okay, so I'll just put Chrysalis meetings because some of them may not be weekly, some may be monthly, some may be one-off. So Chrysalis meetings, and we'll save that. We like blue, why not? Yeah. And okay, so let me save that.
Would that be regular meetings, Jamen? Is that?
Oh yeah, calendar 2. Are you suggesting we edit calendar 2 and call it?
Well, the first one was where you were saying some are weekly, some are monthly, but they're all regular. That's
okay. You know, for the red ones, it could be. How about we call it radish meetings, other, right? Or because that can include the conversation, the press conference.
What is a radish meeting, and how is anybody supposed to know what a radish meeting is, or is it a term that I'm just unfamiliar with?
Good point. Good point. Well, here, let me just.
Food healers. Well,
those are all part. Well, here. Let me stop screen share for a moment so we can talk with each other. Radish is the original umbrella organization under which we co-created the block party on Fridays, the press conference on Thursdays. But I was just thinking of just a good label. It could also be the conversation meetings, other. I'm not attached, but just like things.
Yeah, no, it's a difficult one because if Chrysalis is one, then another one should be Food Healers, and another one should be Amazon, and so on and so on. But then we're going to end up with an awful lot of colors on there, and it's just going to look like a mess. And so broader categories might be better.
Is that something you're paying for? Is it? Did it say?
No. That's not the. Oh, I think maybe.
Did it say in calendars you're only allowed so many, like 50 calendars?
Yeah, 50 though. I think it's 50, and it's going to be a complete mess before you get to 50.
Is it going to be like Kiko Labs as a heading, or is it going to be something that encompasses more of a more encompassing thing?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I mean, there's a fractal layering to be done later on when more people come in with their calendars. There's a fractal layering to be done, right? And so each calendar of each group would have its own color, and then you click on their calendar and it opens up, and within that calendar there will be different colors for their different kinds of events within that calendar. Right, but yeah, it's something like that. But yeah, this is going to be very tricky. Figuring out what the right breadth of category is and have the right number of colors on that.
It's all editable and changeable layer, though.
It is.
Yeah. So let's not go for perfection right now. Let's just focus on getting it done.
Yeah, if you're going to go with Chrysalis as one color, then each event should have its own color. For now, on this calendar, each event should have its own color, and we'll see what it looks like.
Well, I actually don't necessarily agree that each event should have its own color, because that I think we'd have kind of a bit too much of an explosion. What I'm thinking is, you see, within the meetings that happen in this Zoom room, I think it's enough that we have 2 colors, one for Chrysalis meetings.
And one for everything else.
One for everything else. And that's why I just say radish other, right? But let me see if I can get Marco's blessing on that. Marco, are you cool with radish other, or would you rather have the conversation.cc other?
I'm not overly attached to either. I can't think of a logic that puts one before the other right now.
Part of the reason I like radish is because it's red, and then
what about
other? Because the campfire is other.
When you go to the campfire, it's
good point.
I like campfire.
And fire is also red.
I like campfire because nobody knows what the 24/7 CC is. Nobody knows what the radish is, but campfire, everybody gets the notion of campfire. I like that. Campfire is good.
Okay.
And it's red. It's red ish.
Yeah, exactly. So campfire events other. Yep. Okay. Good. Okay. So now we've got 2 calendars, and then let's go to Let me just click on that, choose a color. Okay. How do I get back to my calendars? Back to calendar. Okay. So back to calendar. Chrysalis meetings. If I click on that, where did they go? Oh, they're at the next week.
Oh, it hasn't gone retrospectively for the Thursday meeting. That's disappointing.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. How do I get back to weekly view? Weeks here. Weeks.
That's the 4 weekly view you've got there, I think.
Okay. How do I? Oh,
But
week.
yeah, where is it?
No.
Where
Here.
is it?
Here. Yeah.
Where's all the stuff you put in?
Oh. Oh, here. Oh, I
Ah,
got it. It's a toggle. It's a toggle.
ah,
You can toggle on the red, toggle off the red. You see,
okay.
it's great. It's grayed out there. Follow my mouse.
Yeah,
It's grayed,
I
now it's
understand.
on. Okay. Okay. So now let's go ahead and put on Campfire events other. So how does this work? If I highlight it, by default, it's what calendar is it?
You choose the calendar, I think.
Oh,
you
there
choose
we
the
go. There we
calendar.
go. There we go. Okay. All right. So the other Campfire events are, and here's where we'll put in glass beads. 12 to 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Calendar. Select or type calendar events other. Title. What do you want to call it, Eric? Glass
bead games.
Glass bead games, just like that.
Yep.
Okay. And then repeats every Thursday, weekly, every Thursday, forever. You'll be around forever, right, Eric? Okay, done. Okay, save, and then let me get all that Zoom info from one of these and just copy this. By the way, does somebody want to test and just take a look at the calendar? Oh, wait, do we even have the calendar view? No, we don't yet. So we'll get to that in a second. Okay, so here, I'm going to put here in description, weekly, weekly glass beads games led by.
Yeah, why don't you move on to the next thing, Jamen? I'll type a description into the chat window, and then you can copy and paste it over.
Okay, perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, that works, doesn't it?
Yep. Okay. All right. So there's that. Apply to all. All right. So we got the glass.
You never changed the time on that. You left it for the time for the other one.
No, it's 12 to 2.
In the
No, look, I
description,
did
you never,
change it. See?
in the description.
Yeah, in the description. See, every
All right.
Thursday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You
And
did
then,
that too fast for me.
yeah, that's all right. Anyway, and then next one I'm going to put in is going to be Food Healers Los Angeles. And that'll repeat every Thursday. Done. And I'll put this in the description, which will be
This description would be the perfect place to put a YouTube link to a snack of what it's about. So when people turn up, they don't say, "Hey, what's this all about?" and take up 20 minutes, everybody describing it to them.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Okay. All right. So now we've got some good. Oh, we got people in the waiting room. We got Sarah and Josh Uri. So let's add them both. They're probably here for glass beads. And
They are here for glass. Josh certainly is. I'm not sure about Sarah, but Josh certainly is.
So Eric, I'm going to make you host. Please make me co-host.
Yep. You're muted, Jamen.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Eric, I'm going to make you host. Please make me co-host. Welcome, Josh. Welcome, Sarah. Welcome to the Glass Beads game. And who would like to join me to continue calendar development in a breakout room? And Eric, I assume you're facile with the breakout rooms.
Yep, I'm doing it right now.
Okay. James has his thumb up. I certainly don't want to poach people away from glass beads. So Eric, my apologies. I trust you're cool with that. I think we'd all be in the glass beads. Are you cool with that, Eric?
Hang on just a second. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. Okay. Sorry, am I cool with what? I apologize, Jamen. I wasn't listening.
Are you cool with the number of us going to a breakout room to continue?
Yeah. Who wants to go with Jamen? I'll assign you now. Who wants to go with Jamen?
I know we got Alan, Marco, and James.
Eric, have you got enough for your game? Because I'm focused on the calendar with Jamen really.
Marco and Simon. Okay. There, that should be right.
Okay, and welcome Panthera. Welcome all. Eric's just about to start the glass beads game, and let's see if we've got the invitations to the breakout rooms. Is it?
Oh, sorry, I do apologize, Jamen. I haven't assigned you for some reason. Here you go.
Oh,
there you go. You're
I'm a co-host, so I can just join.
You can go anyway, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, Marco and Simon are there. Alan has been invited.
You actually assigned the wrong Jamen, but that's okay. If you could actually, because there's two Jamens, but here, I'll join from this computer. Boop.
Suddenly you're on my own.
I'll be right with you guys. I just got to coordinate in the other room for a second.
Ugh.
We're still recording.
It's quite interesting reading the About section on Teamup there. Got a lot of customers based in Switzerland. Oh.
All righty. I just had to check in quickly with Eric and the other folks. I'm back. And I am so, since Sister Ivy's not here at the moment, I am so fucking excited. We're finally getting this going in earnest. This is so fucking cool. And we can even upload images from our computer if we want to. So I just need to take a quick bio break, and I'll be back.
Me too. I'll be back at 2 as well. I'm just taking a quick break.
Okay. All right. Everybody take your fucking break. I'm going to pause recording for a minute. Just to pause. All right. Back after a brief break. Let me go ahead and screen share back on the calendar that we're creating. So, okay. So this is enough of a start. We've got 2 colors, 2 calendars. And so now, like, how do we publish this? How do we make it viewable? So I'm going to go back to Teamup here. Chrysalis Calendar. This dashboard will remember all the calendars for you. So let's click on Chrysalis Calendar. And okay, so it looks like the Chrysalis Calendar has, here, let me go to the next week view. So it has both of these so it's called the Chrysalis Calendar, but it has Chrysalis Meetings, not to be confused with the Chrysalis Calendar, and Campfire Events Other. Is that clear to everyone? All right, so I'll take that as a yes. And now we've got a new URL here. So I'm going to copy that, stop share, and put it in the chat and see if I can get a volunteer or two to just click on that and see if you see the calendar.
That will probably still be the editing link.
Well, take a look and see.
It's asking to log in.
Okay. All right. So we've got two tasks ahead of us right now. One is, how do I get logins to you guys? And the second one is, how do we publish the calendar so that Joe Blow walking down the street on his iPhone can say, oh, I just found out about this Chrysalis calendar. Let me click on it. All right.
Actually, a very important point to establish right now. Can you see it without logging in?
Yeah. All right. Well, see this thing here that says new to Teamup? Check out the Getting Started guide. Why don't we start there or go there next? I don't think we know enough about Teamup. You see where it says Get Started? Oh, look, share with other users. Add account-based users or create calendar links and assign permissions. Now we're talking. All right. How to share your Teamup calendar with users, groups, or links. Newly created calendars, da 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 da. Sharing via calendar links. Here, why don't we just watch this video? Shall we watch it?
How long is it?
It can't be long because these things are never long. Here, let me screen share sound and video. Let's just give it a try. I mean, and watch 2 minutes.
Welcome to this video tutorial explaining how to share your calendar with others. To start, click the blue menu icon in the top right-hand corner of your calendar. Then select Settings from the drop-down box. From here, select Sharing from the left sidebar. Here you will see 3 options: Add User, Create Group, and Create Link. The first option, Add User, refers to account users. These are users who get access to the calendar through an account. They are required to create and log into their Teamup user account for calendar access. Select Add User, then input the email address of the desired user. If the email address is associated with a Teamup user account, it will appear after selecting Search. Then choose the amount of calendar access you wish the user to have and select Save. The user will then receive an email invite to the calendar, and the calendar will populate in their calendar dashboard. If you enter an email address that is not associated with an account, an email will be sent inviting them to create one. To save time, you can create a group. This comes in handy when you have many users that need the same calendar access permission. Select Create Group, then give the group a name and select the permissions that are going to apply to said group. Now when adding a user, you can assign it directly to a group. Lastly, you can create a link. These link users only need the calendar link to open the calendar. They are not required to have an account. Select Create Link and assign the appropriate permissions. Thank you for watching.
Wasn't that awesome? It just told us everything we need to know in less than 2 minutes about sharing. So we're going to create.
That's a snack.
Yeah, I think the link option will be the easiest, all right, with it?
Well, the link is, I think we'll use the link option for sharing it with the public. That's for sure. Right? Because we want people to click on the calendar and see what's going on. We want to put it up on Radish, on the conversation.cc, on the press conference, etc. But I think for people to add events to the calendar, see, only special people can add events to the calendar. We don't want the general public to be able to add events, at least not yet, not until we get there. So I would just say, well, let's try it out. In fact, there's even, like, I would say 2 levels of editors that we want for the calendar. One level is giving people permission to add events and only modify events that they themselves have added. I don't know if that's possible. We'll find out. The other level, yeah,
that is possible. That is possible. We spotted that last week. There was some way you could figure out how to get only users modify. So yeah, I think the links is, as you said, the best option for the general public to get a link to get into the calendar, and the groups then would be up to themselves then to assign who can edit.
Okay, perfect.
That
Okay,
might be an idea to test that with who's in the group here now. You could, like, get me and Simon and Marco and that to, team up and then see what access we've got, if it's limited or if it's full access, and you would know what you were given to people.
Okay, so the next 2 steps are, one, I'm gonna create a group called full editors, or full permission editors. Maybe we'll just call it that, full permission. So you have the ability to add stuff, modify stuff, delete stuff, and that's really for the 5 of us plus other special people like Eric, Sister Ivy, Christopher, and so on. Fair enough?
Melanie.
Yeah?
Melanie.
Oh, Malini, exactly. Malini. It's pronounced Malini. Okay, let me pause recording real quick.